in UP, it's really more on exams. There's no like papers, there's no projects to pangbawi. So it really relies on you just studying hard. So what would happen? This would be my routine. From Monday to Wednesday, I would have that class from 8 to 5 p.m. And then afterwards, my exam is on that Saturday. And that's a lot of information to take in such a short span of time.
Just 1
That's
week,
not even that's not even enough for you to like to build on your long-term memory. And also on Wednesday, on Thursday and on Friday, we have 8 to 5 classes also. Because that's the normal in UP Manila. Tapos parang, alam mo, it's not like I wanted it, but it's more like I had no choice, but I had to survive. You know, there will be times na you would just really break down on the weekend because you felt like a robot. And that went on for like a good 4 months or 5. And that was really tiring.
Welcome to the Meaning of Life podcast. With me here today is Jeanelle Angela. So hi Jeanelle, how are you? And I mean, who are you and what do you do?
Hi guys, I'm Jeanelle Angeles. I'm currently a second-year med student from UERM Medicine. And when I'm not studying, I usually host and inspire people through my show called That Fresh Perspective with Jeanelle and Luigi every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. Wow, promotional skill.
Yeah, okay. So I want to have you over Jeanelle because you're going through med school and you've been through pre-med and everything. Something that I would say a lot of people are dreaming to go through because a lot of people here in the Philippines, they want to be doctors.
Yeah, I guess that's like the trend here, diba? Parang ganun.
What pushed you towards it? Like, what made you want to go to med school?
Actually, it's really something unexpected. Prior, when we were back in fourth year, I really wanted to go law. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like my elective was like policy. Basta elective ko was for law. And then, it really changed bigla to med. I mean, like, parang I remember calling up Arlan. You know, I'll always credit Arlan for this. So, advice ni Arlan. Sabi ni Arlan sa akin. Sabi ko, I called Arlan. Arlan, what course should I pick? What course should I get? They have occupational therapy. They have other courses. And then he was like, oh, pick mo occupational therapy. Yun yung course ng valedictorian natin. And yung valedictorian natin. And then I was like, oh yeah, parang I want to get occupational therapy as my first choice. It sounded so highfalutin, parang fancy, parang it sounds so like a complicated course.
Yeah,
and then, so that's what happened. I chose occupational therapy because I was like, in UP Manila, because I thought that it was a quota course. I didn't really expect that I'd get in because I really wanted law. So I was choosing all the other options as like, POSI, behavioral science, and those things that I thought could be, pre-law courses.
Where? In what schools?
In UP Manila.
Okay.
Yeah. In UP Manila. And then, surprisingly, I got a call from UP Manila. They told me that I got in occupational therapy. And then by that time, I didn't know what occupational therapy was about. I just read about it na it's a profession that deals with, that deals with disabilities in terms of like physical, mental, emotional. But like it was really vague for me that time. I was like, what's this for? And then going into college, I realized that I really found one of my passions in life. It was really beautiful because occupational therapy really deals with clients with disabilities about how to make their quality of life better, even if you have a disability. So, you know how like in the Philippines, there's like a notion or there's somewhat like a culture that if you have a disability, you're deemed as useless or parang you're not really empowered. Alam mo, parang there's always a stigma already towards PWDs. Yeah. And like maybe for PWDs, they can also experience or feel that their life is over. Like, parang naputol yung legs ko because probably na-electrocute siya. So parang I don't have a function in life anymore. But no, that's not true. With occupational therapy, we really believe that what really limits a person, what really limits a person is not themselves or yun nga, yung what they have or like their disability, but it's really the society. The society because of the lack of accommodation given to them. Because given the right accommodation, di ba? Parang if you were to imagine, di ba you know how like in other countries, like the environmental adjustments or accommodation for PWDs, parang meron sila yung mga different modifications, di ba? Alam mo, parang sa wheelchair, yung for people with visual issues. Alam mo yun, if we had that in the Philippines, that wouldn't really be a problem. Like, we wouldn't really have a stigma because just like everyone else, they can also function the same way as we do, right? And it's really about the stigma. So yeah, that's why I really fell in love with occupational therapy because it banks on the strengths of the person, diba?
Yeah.
It really believes and empowers the person that, you know, through therapy, through the use of activities, we can help you feel that, we can help you regain and feel your purpose in life again. Parang ginagawa kasi namin for our clients or for our patients is that we use, for example, a person who parang a housewife and one of yung purpose niya in life is to take care of his children. So, or to, you know, to clean or parang to cook for the family. So through occupational therapy, we would, you know, we would make adjustments to cooking so that they can still cook even if they don't have an arm anymore. Diba? Even if they only have one arm. So that's why I love occupational therapy. And wow, I think I delved into that way too much.
Yeah, no, pero I like gets like you, I think you encapsulated your meaning of it very well and like that in what you said, and it is very much a systemic problem, I think. What you mentioned kasi when you go to other countries, like let's say I went to Japan before, nakita ko like sa subways nila, they just don't have, they have ramps for like wheelchaired and people with disabilities, like the people who can't really walk. Pero meron din silang mga upuan that actually go up and down the stairs to make it easier, like, for example. True. So if there's no one to like push you up, you can go up yourself. So yeah. But you didn't really like going in. You went in cold. Like you didn't you mentioned before, you didn't know a lot about occupational therapy. So what was it like actually when you first went in? Like was it like, what did you expect? And then ano yung parang, what was your like waking up moment na, okay, this is it?
I really didn't know what to expect. As in when I went, I really didn't know what to expect. All along, all I knew was I was going to a wonderful profession devoted to be of service to other people. And I like that. I think ever since before, I've always had that in me as one of my driving purpose in life, to really serve the people. And what really made me love occupational therapy is, I think, when I realized how beautiful you can change a person's life. I remember back in fourth year, during my internship year, I was assigned as an intern in PGH, and I was able to hear stories from different people, mga carpenters, electrician, and their experience with having a, you know, with that scenario naman, they were amputees, so they had an amputation on their legs. And what was beautiful is that this person even wrote a letter to the interns about how he was so happy that through occupational therapy, he felt empowered that he could do more. And isn't that beautiful that through therapy or through your profession, you can empower someone, you can help someone believe in themselves again. So that's why I felt that occupational therapy was really a beautiful profession. You know, parang, I really believe that just like everyone else, you know, people who were born with disabilities, they didn't choose that life. But they didn't choose to have stigma automatically when they were born. They didn't choose naman na not to have full independence in their life, diba? So I feel like as occupational therapists, we can, parang in my profession, we can help them reach their highest level of potential. Like just like everyone else, isn't it nice to, bank on and to strengthen someone's potential, right? Like, I don't know, like I just found it really fulfilling. Yeah.
Yeah. How was like the student experience there? Like what did they make you do? Did they make you have a lot of readings, or like did you memorize a lot of terms? I'm imagining you did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think in UP Manila, I realized that I really love studying.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, okay, yeah.
As in, I really fell in love with the things that I was learning. You know how like back in high school when we were parang we were just chill lang naman. I mean, we were
Uh-huh.
in the co-pilot section. We studied, but not like intensely studied for everything. We had the
Yeah.
balance, right? We
Yeah.
had fun, ganyan, ganyan. But the thing
Wait,
is
don't you have
when
fun anymore? Don't you
um
have fun
I think syempre it's
Yeah.
well, I won't sugarcoat my experience in occupational therapy. It's really one of the hardest courses. I mean, based on what I know and what I've heard and what I felt, it's really
Mhm.
intense. Usually in other schools, it's actually a 5-year course, but in UP Manila, it's a 4-year course. But it's different now. It's all 4 years for all schools. But I guess it was really difficult because um there's a lot of things to study and memorize for. I just can't.
Uh-huh.
I wish I could expound on it, but we have this thing called in UP Manila a trans system. So a trans is basically like a transcription of it has an outline, it has all the PowerPoint, it has all the content from the PowerPoint, all the content from what the professor said during that time. It has everything. And ano siya? And it's parang font size 8, tapos madami talaga siya. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I guess that's the heavy part. Nagulat ako na parang, alam mo yun, I was really overwhelmed with the load. And it was
Mhm.
definitely far from chill. And from UP Manila, I think our culture kasi, generally, from what I observed, it's really aral is life. I
Yeah.
think. Like, we had orgs. Yeah, I also had orgs. But it was really more on just studying. Yeah, people were
Yeah.
really studious and parang, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I could say about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's would you say you have to love it in order to survive?
Yeah.
You have to. And buti na lang you grew to like love it because it wasn't your initial direction, right? So
Yeah.
para paano yun? Ang parang medyo malayo kasi like for me, like from an outsider's perspective, like you wanted to go law, right? First and foremost.
Yeah.
Pero
Yeah.
like you decided na okay, I'll go through occupational therapy na lang.
I
Was it like
guess.
a big like life swerve for you, like life decision?
Mm, not really. I guess because since I was young, I guess my first dream was really to be a doctor. I wanted to be a cardiologist. So all my life, it's like I wanted to go med, but then like around third year, fourth year, I realized I wanted to become a lawyer. So I guess it's not much of a big career path change. It's like I just went back to my childhood dream, 'di ba? Kasi
Yeah.
parang for me, I think reality really like nag-sink in lang siya during fourth year. Because when CSA, life is really fun and light. You just have fun. Parang gets, you don't really think about college until it's
Yeah.
fourth year.
Until ayan
'Di
na yung test, gano'n? Parang until,
Yeah.
may test na, may DCAT.
Oo. Na parang, oh my gosh, you have to choose your course na. So that's what happened. So when I got into occupational therapy, I was really happy because whenever I felt demotivated to study, I really reminded myself that I was studying for my future patients. I wasn't studying for myself. And that drove me
Yeah.
to study not just to pass, but really because every time I study something, it's gonna contribute to my competence as a future therapist or doctor. Diba? Because syempre, you're gonna be saving lives someday. You're gonna empower people. So how will you inspire them if you don't put your best self forward or if
Yeah.
you didn't do your best, right?
Yeah. Janelle, I'd like to say I really admire like your passion for what you do. I think not everyone shares the same passion for what they do. I would say because we all have differing levels of like I really want to do this. I really want to go through this. Like what you said nga
Yeah.
kanina. Um a lot of people just I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but a lot of people go to college, with the goal of because I want to get rich. I wanna I wanna do this as because ito yung sinabi sa akin na gawing course or something like that.
Oo.
But
Mm-mm.
to study not primarily for those things, for those reasons, but for the reasons in being competent later on in your life so you can help
Yeah.
more people. Um that's an that's a great drive for a person. How do you not burn out? How do you not burn out
Um,
in like studying?
um, First of all, I also want to add to what I said earlier. Um, I think what drove me really to, to find the purpose. Someone told me kasi, it was Elliot, diba? Our batchmate. He told me that you shouldn't be studying just to pass. You should be studying in mind that you're helping people, to serve the people. And it's really hard because like just like everyone else, diba? We're like cars and we can't always drive at our own, at our best type of performance. We also need to rest. And I really got burned out a lot. Not because I placed it upon myself, but more like because of the system. So what happened was in occupational therapy back in third year, it was really intense because we took a sem-long course. Like we took anatomy. Anatomy is the whole body. Yeah. We took that course in a span of 2 months and a few weeks. So that's really crazy. As in, I think, I guess that's crazy kasi also because we also took, what happened kasi is, our schedule for exams is that in UP, it's really more on exams. There's no like papers, there's no projects to pangbawi. So it really relies on you just studying hard. So what would happen, this would be my routine. From Monday to Wednesday, I would have that class from 8 to 5 p.m. And then afterwards, my exam is on that Saturday. And that's a lot of information to take in such a short span of time.
Just 1
that's
week,
not even, that's not even enough for you to like to build on your long-term memory. And also on Wednesday, on Thursday and on Friday, we have 8 to 5 classes also because that's the normal in UP Manila. So parang, anyway, it's not like I wanted it, but it's more like I had no choice, but I had to survive. There would be times na you would just really break down on the weekend because you felt like a robot. And that went on for like a good 4 months or 5. And that was really tiring. Yeah. But I guess,
You guess what?
I guess I learned that in order to avoid burnout, since now I'm in med school and I really like the pacing in UERM. Like I really love my med school right now because they really, for me, I feel like it gives me enough time to enjoy the process of learning instead of just learning just to pass. I feel like that's more important. And it's really about like not being harsh to yourself. Like no matter what, it's so easier said than done, but it's really about being more intentional that you want to be kinder to yourself. And definitely time management. Time management and just putting onto your, scheduling the things for your day na kaya mo lang. Sometimes we get too ahead of ourselves or we want to achieve a lot in a certain day, but we forget to put breaks. So I feel like that's something that's really important. And also to do things that you really love and that keeps you alive. Because if you don't do that, like you're gonna get burned out and you can't always perform at your best, like what I said. And your best will always look different every day. And that's okay. Because as long as you keep on going, it's okay even if your speed is gonna be slow. Yeah.
Yeah. What keeps you alive, Jeanelle?
Wow. What a straightforward question. What keeps me alive? I think right now what keeps me alive, I think the podcast. The Calamansi show that they have with Luigi, that fresh perspective. It's really something close to my heart because I feel like it's a platform wherein we can inspire people. And through the show also, Dylan, like, I don't know, it's really beautiful that you feel like you're contributing to something, that you're touching someone's life, even just a one person. Because our topics would usually revolve around mental health, well-being. And at the same time, I feel like I'm also growing with the show. So
like you also learn with every episode, with every rendition. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, the topics that we choose for our show, it's because it's also something that we feel like we will need. I mean, personally, I'm just speaking for myself. The things that I suggest, it's because I really want to learn more on these aspects. I want to be more aware and be more educated about these things so that I will, parang na-force ako to research on it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's self-help. It's helping myself. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Siguro to close the book on like us talking about your pre-med and occupational therapy. Ano yung mga like tips mo on like the people who are going through it now or like the people who are about to go through it? What are your pieces of advice now that you've gone past that stage in your life?
Never ever neglect the people special to you. No matter how busy and determined you are to reach your goals, never forget that everyone's time is counted, or parang we won't have them forever in our lives. And you're gonna regret all the opportunities of spending time with them just because you had to study, just because you had to do this, you had to be busy with your own career. I feel like it's very important to be driven and goal oriented. There's nothing wrong with that. But you also need to balance taking care of yourself, your well being, and the people around you. Because the reason why I'm sharing this, because I remember back in pre-med, back in OT, I would say no to going out. I really deprived myself of going out because I had to study. But looking back, look at where we are right now. We're in a pandemic, and if there's anything, I just want to go out. Everyone just wants to go out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, maybe like a batchmate natin pa nga, or like, it's really unexpected. There's a lot of people who are passing away these days. I mean, sorry it got so dark, but I think the point here is that if you think about it, I might become deeper with what I'm gonna say, but the reason why when we studied lifespan development, we studied how a person's life would progress from being a child, from a baby, from a cell, baby, child, to adulthood until death. What's my favorite? I think my favorite concept there is that I really like the idea of death, but at the same time it scares me. It scares me, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful because through the idea of temperance, diba? I don't know. Temperance, or basically the idea that things are temporary, we are able to cherish life with people every day. Alam mo yun, parang if we knew that we were gonna live forever, we wouldn't really strive to be as successful. We won't strive to hustle, right? And the idea that our life, that there's different milestones in our life, that's what makes life more fulfilling. And at the same time, it makes us value the people around us. So yeah, that's my first advice for people. It's really to value don't forget about the people close to you, because you won't have time forever. Like every one of us. Yeah. And second, it's really to choose the right people. I guess this is very cliche, to choose the right people, but even in social media, I feel like we should, lalo na because we're in a pandemic, people should really choose how to mute people, or how to take control of their energy. Whether it's an opportunity, whether it's with the things you see on social media, you need to take control of that. Because that's going to affect your mental health and well-being. It's all about setting boundaries, about how much would you let other people or other things influence you. Diba? Even such as like life problems or issues. I think it's all about how you're gonna let it affect you. Diba? Something really grave or intense could be happening in your life, but it's about your perspective about how you're gonna take it. Diba? I mean, you can choose you can choose to care like around 40%, 50%. Diba? I mean, but what matters is you really regulate what you let affect, you really regulate the factors that can influence you. And thirdly, just don't study, like what I said earlier, don't study just to pass. Find your why. Whether you're a pre-med student, a med student, or whether, you're just a student in general, find your biggest why and hold on to that. Whether your why is really to be successful or make your parents proud, hold on to that. And remember that don't be too harsh to yourself, because we're all human. And lalo na ngayon, because social media, parang I feel like mas na-amplify yung comparison, or like comparing yourself with other people. I just want that you should also celebrate your small wins. You should also celebrate to yourself. Diba? I feel like one way to really avoid burnout is to celebrate your small wins. Even if bumangon ka lang that day, even if naligo ka lang, or you did something very small, like replying to people, don't take it against you. Like, don't be too harsh to yourself and put expectations, because at the end of the day, you're really gonna make your own pacing in your life. Life's not a race, really.
Yeah.
Like, these milestones, don't be overwhelmed by that. You're really setting the pace for your life, and that's okay, diba? Because like what we always see in our show, don't compare your chapter 5 to someone else's chapter 21, and at the same time, don't compare someone else's chapter 5 to your chapter 21, because in life, it's not really going to be fair. People will be better than you. And it's okay, because you also have your own strengths and weaknesses. But in a sense, it's not an equal comparison. Diba? You can't really compare people if they're not on the same factors at everything. So, yeah, that's mine. That's really
Yeah.
quite a lot. Yeah.
Oo,
So,
but yeah,
yeah.
ako malaking celebration na ako kapag naligo ako. Like,
Yeah.
nagpapa-party ako kapag naliligo. Hindi, joke lang. Naligo na ako. That's my ligo for the year. Ganun.
Yeah.
Hindi, joke lang. I'm just kidding. Um, pero yeah, I just want to echo what you said actually a while
Yeah.
ago. It's we never really know how things will be the way they are for how long they'll be the way they are. Like, for
Yeah.
example, I doubt anyone ever expected this pandemic to ravage us for this long. And
Yeah.
it's really brought into perspective, into our fresh perspective, how our lives are so vulnerable to change.
Yeah.
Like at
It's so
any point in
fragile
time.
na.
It's so fragile.
Yeah.
And one snap, one moment, everything can change. Like, bawal ka na lumabas. You're not gonna see your friends again
Yeah.
for such a
Yeah.
long time. And it's it's that uncertainty that gives every single thing that we do right now more weight and more meaning. Like,
That's true.
I would say. Pero ngayon, in what we're doing right now, like you're in second year med school. Um, what has changed from like pre-med to like, okay, you're in med school now? What has changed? What has evolved in like how everything is, or how what you're studying, ganon?
Wow. Wow, there's really, I mean, wow, that was really kind of heavy. I guess because since I entered med school, it was already online. Of course, it's really gonna be different. But
Yeah.
if anything, this is quite debatable. But in a sense, I actually love online med setup
Really?
because I,
Yeah.
yeah, because personally, because we always make trances, I would really prefer studying the trances or yun nga, yung parang or study material because it enables me to get more sleep. And I like that that the lectures are recorded. In my, we don't really, it's not really a need to attend your class. But syempre you should attend, di ba?
Yeah.
But it's not like attendance is graded. And I like it because I can have more time for myself and at my own pace because I really work differently. I really have a weird body clock. I I sleep at 4 a.m. and I wake up at 1. You know, those type of thing. I really
Yeah.
like things at my own pace. And I felt like there's an extra hassle because when we're um doing classes, if you like, you have to wake up in the morning, you have to
Yeah.
prepare.
From a med
Yeah.
student, is that healthy? Your body clock?
Um for me, oh my god, this is kind of, I mean, for me as a med student, like as a future doctor, wow, it's not healthy at all. Like, it's really ruining my circadian rhythm. It's
Mm-hmm.
our body clock. But for me, I kind of have a weird logic to it. Is that as long as I get that amount of hours of sleep, I'm still healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, diba? I mean, like, okay, I can sleep, I can do that type of body clock, but I still get 12 hours I mean, like 6 hours of sleep. So technically, it's like, I just have a weird, technically, it's like jet lag lang ako.
Mm-hmm.
Parang as if I'm just in the States, but I'm not.
Parang nausog lang, ganun.
Oo,
Like, I'm
nausog
like
lang
in the
isa.
States, but I'm the Philippines. So,
Yeah.
ganun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess also my support system. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
being in an online med type of setup, it really helped me assess who my real friends are, or more like who's going to be there or who's genuine. I think that's what made me also realize during the
Uh-huh.
pandemic. Like, who are the people who are only there because of the good times? Or who are the real friends who are there to you, even during your lows? Yeah. So that's mine.
Yeah.
Ang cliche ng answers ko, sorry. Pero
No, it's fine. Yeah.
yeah.
But definitely, in med school,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. Yeah, you mentioned you like the online setup, and how you
Yeah.
learn because you get
But
more sleep. You can control your time more. Yeah.
can I
Um.
just add
Oh yeah, yeah, sure.
that I'm not saying, can I just add the disclaimer that the online med setup is really it's really quite parang if you actually like online med setup, I think it's actually a privilege. Like, it's really not for everyone. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it parang that's why I liked it, but it's just my personal preference. But that doesn't mean na parang, oh, I feel like online setup is good for everyone, because that's really selfish, and that's really not taking everyone's needs and context into consideration, because there's also mental health, diba? Definitely. And parang, oh, sorry, I felt like I just wanted to talk about that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
grabe. Oh, yeah, for sure. Pero hindi ba in med school you get a lot of hindi ba may like
Oh,
subjects that require you guys to go into like
yeah,
to actually be in the field or like in the lab or something.
yeah.
Yeah, how do you do
Ac-
that?
Actually, yeah, I'm really glad you raised that up. Because
Yeah.
although I enjoyed that type of setup for myself in first year, I don't think that's really applicable when you go in the upper years. Because first year is really about theoreticals. So we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna study the foundational knowledge. But in second year, you're slowly applying what you need to know. So yeah, I think we really need it, because how med students are doing it right now, it's like they're gonna take videos of themselves. They're gonna, I haven't really experienced it, but they're gonna take a video of themselves doing the procedure, and they're gonna send it. Parang that's like their output. Yeah.
Okay.
So for example, like one time I did I did a reflex exam to my mom on her abdomen. So parang ganon, you have to take a video of it lang. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ano yun?
But
Like,
yeah.
yeah, paano yun? Like, ano yun? How's a reflex exam? What's a reflex exam?
Oh, sorry. So a reflex exam, it's basically to test if your nerves are functioning well.
Yun may
Like,
ginagawa sa tuhod?
oh, exactly. That's the reflex hammer.
Yung,
But like we also have reflexes in different areas of our body. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. So now that you're in the swamp, you're in like med school na.
Yeah.
What's your guide to people who want to go to med school? Like how do they go to med school? What was your path and what's the process of everything?
Okay. So it's really it's not really a requirement to go to an actual pre-med type of course, right? There's a lot of my batchmates who came on to from business or fine arts or an engineer.
Wow.
They were may
Uh-huh.
engineer pa. So it really doesn't dictate your performance in med school, because everyone really starts, at almost zero. I guess there's really an edge though, yung other courses na parang knowing they took these subjects before already back in their undergrad. But I feel like everyone really starts, at the baseline, just like everyone else when you go to med school. And it's really,
Uh-huh.
matututunan mo naman yan. So, so the first step really is to take the NMAT. The NMAT is it's an entrance exam that when you take that, that's going to be your score that you need to pass to different med schools in order to apply. So after that, so NMAT, I took it back in my fourth year first sem. And then after that, you applied to different med schools. So different med schools would also have their pros and cons, alam mo yun. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, I think technically that's just it naman, just to apply to med school.
And you
And
just wait for a call, ganun.
yeah, you just get like an email, but it's not just that simple, because I think you really need to be mentally prepared for what you should be expecting, because med
Yeah.
school is really not a joke. I mean, for me, I see that I'm gonna study until my 30s. Parang, alam mo yun, parang I'm gonna go through residency, more specializations after that, fellowship. Parang,
Uh-huh.
it's a lifelong learning experience. And I think you really need to love to learn and to be of service to other people. Diba? I mean,
Yeah.
if you're only doing it for the money, personally, real talk lang, pero if you want, parang my friend told me that parang doctors don't earn as high as people think, or parang hindi talaga siya pampayaman. Alam mo yun, parang
Mm-hmm.
it's enough for you and your needs, but if people are going to that field to be rich, that's not the way. I feel like you need to have other sidelines or a business at the side. Yeah.
But I feel like we should though. Like we should increase pay. Di ba? Like
Definitely.
if we want
Definitely.
to incentivize people to actually do these things, commit
Yeah.
themselves. What you said, like lifelong learning. That's a big
Yeah.
commitment. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we should increase the increase by a large margin
Yeah,
the salary.
definitely. And I think not only in the field of medicine, but just like for everyone.
Like
Diba?
for
I feel like we
everyone.
should raise our minimum wage. feeling ko dapat mas maging, it should be at a more humane type of perspective.
Like a
Right?
living wage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, ngayon, like, siguro, we talked about, like, you going to med school. We talked about you currently.
Yeah.
What's your vision for the future for yourself? Like, what's your plans after? Let's say you're in
Yeah.
your 30s. What do you want to be doing? What's your goal in all of this? What do you plan to do?
Okay. So my plan, wow, this is just like a really parang rough draft lang, parang
Yeah.
an idea, because I believe that I think it's good to have a plan, but at the same time, I'm just really trusting where God will place me, where I'm really meant to be, because even if I have plans, if mas gusto ko ni God in this area, that's where I'm gonna trust my path to be. But for now, my rough draft of my plan is I really want to specialize in neurology or in neurosurgery if I want to study
Wow.
more or if
Yeah.
I have time. Because the thing is, you have to take in consideration na, like us women, we also want to have a family. We're like a ticking time bomb. We can't, alam mo naman yun, diba? Like by your 30s, when you get older, the more likely that magkakaroon ng chromosomal or disorders. Alam mo yun? It's more prone na malaglag yung bata and those stuff. So we're like a ticking time bomb. So,
And also,
we also
it's
need
more
to,
dangerous for you guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And not only that, but of course, like, what type of family would you want to envision? Like, do you want to be super busy lang for your family that you don't have time for them? That also plays a part because different specializations has different levels of stress and different demands.
Yeah.
So, but for me, initially, I really want to go into the field of neurology. Neurology is basically all our nerves, the brain. I really love the brain and how it works. I feel like I'm just, whenever I'm studying it, I'm always in awe na, wow, like God or whoever made us did so many, like, made a lot of mechanisms for us to function the way we do. Like there's different neurotransmitters, like different substances in our brain so that we can feel emotions. We can, we can move. Alam mo yun, parang, I don't know, it's just amazing. Like, how does that even work?
Yeah.
Diba? So, yeah, so I want to go into the field of neurology, field, and or also neurosurgery. I'm also thinking about, of course, we have to think about other businesses or like investments. So maybe my dream for myself is really to also do real estate or like that type of that type of investment. Because my family is into that field naman. So parang I think it's easy to just transition to it. Yeah.
Oh, I share your fascination with the mind.
Yeah.
As a psychology student, it's something I very much relate to. What I was thinking, whenever us humans, as people, study our brains or our minds,
Yeah.
it's just technically like the brain studying itself. Diba? Like
Wow. Yeah.
just it's like a whole entire it's like a computer up there, but it's so much more complex and so much
Yeah.
more like there's still a lot we don't
Yeah.
know when it comes to our brains and everything
Yeah.
and all its functionings. Pero yun nga, it's something, no? Do you have a plan on like when you like want to have like for example like a family ganon?
Actually, I just want to have a family
Next year.
by, or like, wow,
Next
next
year.
year. Wow. Sana, boyfriend muna. Oh my gosh. Nauna yung marriage.
No, na anak.
It's like, I think I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna graduate med school when I'm 23 years old. No, 24 or 24, ganun, around 24. I'm gonna graduate
How old are you now,
2024.
Jeanelle?
So I'm like turning 25 na by that year. Yeah. I am currently 21 years old, turning 22.
Okay.
Yeah. So parang there's like 4 years of residency pa, and like, at first after med school, you'll have, after med school, when you graduate med school, you have your PGI, your postgraduate internship.
Yes.
So after postgraduate internship, you go to you do your residency because you take the boards, get that MD talaga, licensure, and then you do your residency. So parang feeling ko matatapos pa ako with residency, like 29, 30. Ewan. So hopefully I get married after residency or before. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sige. I share your dread also.
Are you
Because
planning to go to
after
med as well?
I'm not. Pero after my double
Okay.
degree, which is already 5 years, I'm going to be
Yeah.
going to law school, which is another 4 years, 3
Wow.
years, and then 1 year of like yung test, like review.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be graduating
Wow.
on 27, 28,
Yeah.
So that's kind of like we're
Yeah.
on the same, more or less same
Yeah.
timeline, So
Yeah.
hopefully, you know,
Wow.
pero
I didn't know this. I'm happy to hear this. Yeah.
when you if you need a
Pero age
lawyer,
doesn't matter
you know,
talaga. Like, in any field.
yeah.
Like, I have batchmates who are in their 30s. It doesn't matter. Diba? As long as the
Yeah.
heart is there, go.
Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, the search and thirst for knowledge never ends. It doesn't have a limit
Definitely.
to how old you are, how
And we're
young
at
you
the
are.
prime of our brain functioning, diba? Diba?
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we should really bank on that. So that's why it's really good to pursue further education pa rin. Or
Oh.
not. It's really up to you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and siguro culminating all of that, and everything you do and all that you do now and all that you plan to do. Oh, for you, what's the meaning of life? What's the meaning of life for you?
For me, the meaning of life is really about making wonderful relationships and touching people. Diba? Because at your deathbed, at your deathbed, materials and your achievements wouldn't matter. It's really about how you lived your life. Did you live
Yeah.
a life full of regrets? Or did you bank on your opportunities? You went out of your comfort zones? Did you touch people's lives? For me, my definition of fulfillment when I'm at my deathbed, I could say that I've really achieved if I've touched a lot of lives or I made a purpose in their lives. And I think naman the Eric Erickson psychosocial development, right?
Yeah. That's
Like I
very
think around
familiar.
40s we enter yung stage na generativity versus wait, I'm not sure. Or like 40s, 50s, like we enter this stage called generativity versus stagnation. So it's really about you generating a lot of things because you realize that you're getting old na. So you have to make the most of what you can. That's why people also have midlife crisis.
Yeah.
So at the last stage of that Eric Erickson psychosocial development, it's the wow. Sorry, can I switch?
Parang dread or acceptance, is that it?
Yeah.
I'm
It's
not
something
like
like that.
that.
Yeah. It's like it's about integrity versus despair. So integrity is when we feel like, oh wow, I can accept life. I've lived my life to the fullest, and I can, parang I can pass away anytime now. I think, that would be nice to go to that stage of integrity that I feel like I gave my best in this life. I lived it well, and I'm ready to die. I don't know.
Not
Di
now
ba
though,
naman?
not now. Mga sa future,
Someday.
mga 50 years
Yeah.
from now,
But the meaning
60.
of life is really relationships. Because without relationships, what would be the color of your picture, diba? What would be the content of your book, diba? There's really life. Life will have no meaning if you lived in a very selfish way. If you didn't touch people's lives and didn't have meaningful relationships with them, you didn't make memories, diba? Because it's what makes us feel alive. Okay, so that's mine. For me, that's the meaning of life.
Yeah.
How about you, Dylan? What's your meaning of life?
What's my meaning of life? Okay. My wow. My meaning of life is more of like a perspective on how I look at life. It's a balance. It's a balancing act of like freedom and destiny. So we have free will, right? We were given free, whatever you believe, like whatever religion you believe, we have the choices to make our own decisions. And our meaning stems from what we make out of those decisions. But we're not entirely free. There is a preordained destiny for us, and I define destiny as the stipulations we are born into this world. So for example, we don't have a choice on to who we're born to, sino family natin, what time we're born to, our genetics, like we don't really have a choice on that. and where we're born. So those define our lives so much, pero they
Yeah.
go unnoticed and invisible sometimes. So um it's like the meaning of our lives is a balancing act of what is given to us and what we make out of what's given to us. Free will and destiny, freedom
Yeah.
and fate. So that's the culmination of our lives. That's our meaning.
Wow. I really love that because I'm really happy that you expound about how different people were really born into opportunities already given to them. Diba?
Yeah.
Parang
Yeah.
just with the race, you can be treated in a different way. You can be given
Yeah.
different opportunities. I really like that idea. And it's really about what will you do with the choices given to you already? And these choices, if you think about it, they're predetermined. Nga, diba?
Yeah.
Diba parang just you living, just right now, diba? Like you graduated from CSA, Lasal. Alam mo yun, parang there's really, it's given to you by, yeah, you didn't control it. Parang you were just born. Yun ang nangyari sa'yo. So I like that. Yeah. I think that's really a good way to think about the meaning of life. And if you think about it, wala lang, I just noticed, I feel like how a person defines the meaning of life, it really depends on how they live their life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that
Parang,
definitely does.
yeah, like for example, since what I said was really about relationships, I think you could really tell what a person focuses their life on. And it's not a bad thing. I see that you're really focused on making decisions that, important decisions on how you're going to make your life at the end of everything. And I think a factor for mine is really about relationships and making beautiful memories. Diba? Parang I think parang I'm so sentimental or like, alam mo yun, you could really tell about that, about what a person answers with that question. That's really nice. Yun lang.
Oh.
Yeah.
And yun nga, di ba? You love this. You always bring it up. Pero in your deathbed, like, you don't retain anything. Yung pinakahuli mong, the last person you are with is only yourself. And
Definitely.
who are you if not the culmination of your experiences and what you left behind and your memories? And yun nga, the end picture of what you'll envision siguro when your vision goes away, when your senses go away, are your memories and the lasting emotions and feelings that you have for yourself. So yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, I think, yeah. I like conversations like these. I feel like they have more questions. Char, more questions pala.
That's it,
That was
actually.
really nice, yeah.
So thank you, Jeanelle, for like
Yeah.
stopping by the Meaning of Life podcast. Hope to see you soon.
Wow, soon. When, joke lang. Pero grabe, no, yung same here though. Like, I really enjoyed being in your show. Parang, I love how your platform is a way to not only get to know the person, but to learn from them and how they see life. And ultimately, their own meaning of life. Yeah.